I met Herb Wegner one time in Ecuador in a meeting when I was in Peace Corps. Later on, I happened to run into him in Panama when he was named Executive Director of the CUNA Latin American Regional Office. I soon found out he was a very social action advocate, but most important of that relationship, that he empowered people to explore alternative solutions to critical credit union development issues that we were facing. He's a fellow that I've shared a lot of experiences with over 20 years until he died. So it has a lot of sentimental significance to me, you know? I get choked up right now.
I think it's very appropriate that he gets the Herb Wegner Award. I knew Herb Wegner, worked with him at the same time that Angel did. And so the passion that Herb had in Latin America, and that's where Angel got his, and he understood what the principles and the philosophy of credit unions were. He taught it, he practiced it, he preached it, and it lives on to this day in everybody and everything that he touched.
Angel tells the credit union story with great passion, with strength and conviction, because he's lived and breathed credit unions his entire adult life. There are literally tens of millions of credit union members who have saved enormous amounts of money that they lend to each other. And I think that there are probably at this point thousands of people who have had contact with Angel who would confirm that he was somebody who they knew instinctively and they knew through experience was somebody who trusted them, who respected them, and who was there only to provide what assistance they wanted from him.
When we ran into each other in the Philippines, he was a consultant for USAID, and he was working on a rural financial study. I was, at the time, working for the World Council. Angel took me aside, and for about 2 or 3 hours, he gave me a crash course on the Philippines. You know, this is the lay of the land and rural finance, and basically gave me the information that I needed to convince USAID to take a chance on the World Council, and more importantly, take a chance on the credit unions. Anyone who knows Angel knows that he's got this twinkle in his eye when he's up to something. He's got this kind of mischievous personality. Has never, ever looked for recognition. And I'm sure you're hearing from others that just this wise man with such a generous heart.
Angel Castro was one of the great credit union pioneers in Latin America. What Angel contributed to the credit union system in Latin America was more than people helping people. It was about credit unions helping credit unions. Angel came from Arizona. He served in the Peace Corps in Ecuador. And frankly, to travel with Angel in Latin America, you were in. You were part of the family because everyone knew Angel. Everybody trusted Angel. Angel was a bridge that people felt appreciated for the work they did in their community credit unions, and they appreciated the vision that he brought in terms of what could be next.
The California League and the California Nevada Credit Union Leagues entered into a partnership agreement with Caja Popular Mexicana in the late 1990s. All of the moving parts and pieces that go with that undertaking were designed by Angel. He was the architect. There were others that were involved in implementing it, but he was the person that designed it. And the result is a rather amazing organization.
I think it's important to note that the credit union movement does have a number of pioneers in its history. What very few people realize is that there was a group of pioneers that came in beginning in the 50s and 60s, and essentially what Angel became was really a pioneer that took the focus of Bergengren and Filene and Wegner, which most people think was domestic only, whereas in fact all three of them felt that it was extremely important that the U.S. credit union movement become involved in the expansion of these systems. So much of what Angel has done really is pioneering in that area.
The United States has been very generous over the past 50 years. And by say the United States, I talk about government, about the credit union movement, CUNA, CUNA Mutual, international credit union service corporations, bilateral partnership arrangements, California, Texas, Arizona, and so forth. And they're still doing it. I would encourage that to continue. And I think a lot of credit union people nowadays, leaderships, that don't fully appreciate the magnitude of the help they have provided over the past 50 years and what impact it has had in the worldwide credit union movement. And I would encourage them to keep involved, keep contributing, and it will be well received and it'll do some good for a lot of people around the world. Dios bendiga a los cooperadores. God bless the cooperators.
Ladies and gentlemen, the National Credit Union Foundation is proud to honor Angel V. Castro with the 2018 Herb Wegner Memorial Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement.